Hello, welcome to Yoga at the Library. We are going to have a nice class with a lot of deep stretches for the legs and the back especially. I think you're going to like it. So we'll begin laying on our backs with the knees bent. You want to make sure you've got a lot of mat to extend your legs out on, but for starters, we're going to have the knees bent. So just resting down onto the floor, letting your spine kind of release, letting the vertebrae spread apart from one another, letting gravity press you down towards the floor, noticing how this feels. This might be the first time you've laid down since you got out of bed this morning. Noticing what gravity has done over the course of the day to compress those bones and muscles. Letting the arms and the legs be heavy. Maybe extending one leg and then the other. Stretching your body out long and relaxing. Taking deep, full breaths. Inhaling through the nose, feeling the belly and the chest rise. And exhaling, pressing all that air out. Checking in with your breath and noticing if there are any tight places, any uncomfortable places, especially that transition from inhale to exhale. Bringing ease to those transitions, those tight places. We'll take another big, deep breath in through the nose. Let it out through the mouth. Alright, we'll begin to move with the breath. So bringing the legs together. Well, let's see. Don't want to get it wrong this time. We'll take a big, deep breath in. And on our exhale, bend the right knee into the chest. Inhaling, lengthen. On our exhale, we'll bend the left knee in. And inhaling to lengthen. So we're alternating, dragging the heel in towards the booty, and then dragging it away back towards the end of the mat. If you want to try both knees at one time, feel free. Inhaling to extend those heels back out. Or one at a time is just fine. Waking up the fronts of the legs, the hip flexors, the core. Notice what's going on with your low back and see if you can tuck the hips a little bit and press the entire spine into the floor. It really changes the sensation and gives your spine and your hips and your pelvis a lot more stability. It also protects those core muscles from separating. So tucking that tailbone to press the low back into the floor. We'll end with both knees bent, bottoms of the feet to the floor. The low back is pressing into the floor, adjusting however you need to adjust to find that position. We'll take the arms out into a T, bending the elbows so that the backs of the hands and the backs of the forearms are on the floor, if they can be. We're reaching toward the floor. On an inhale, we'll slide the hands and forearms up. Exhale, bringing those elbows down towards the rib cage. Inhaling, lifting the arms up, sliding the backs of the hands along the floor. And exhaling, elbows come in. Noticing tight places, noticing a release. Opening up the fronts of the arms, the inner arms. Moving with your breath. We'll bring the elbows down towards the rib cage one more time. And then extend the arms back out into a T. We've got our knees bent. We're gonna let those knees just drop together down to one side, coming into a big open twist. Inhaling, knees come back up to center. And exhaling, knees drop down to the other side. We'll come back up to center. Switch sides one more time. Moving that spine. Gentle twists. Inhaling up. And exhaling down for the last time. We'll inhale to come on up. Then we'll roll all the way over to one side. Gently pressing up into a seated position on your mat with the ankles crossed. Coming into our easy seat pose, Prasana. Sitting up nice and tall, we'll do some arm circles, bringing the palms together at heart. Take a big deep breath in here. Interlacing the fingers and pressing the palms forward. Inhaling up, shoulders dropping away from the ears. And exhaling, hands back behind and interlace. Inhaling, lifting the heart, lifting the chin. And exhaling, hands back to center. Check in with your posture. Check in with your sit bones. Big deep breath in. Exhaling, pressing palms forward. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, hands reach back and interlace. Inhaling to lift those hands, lift the heart. Exhaling, hands to center. We'll do that one more time. Big deep breath in. Exhaling, pressing palms forward. Inhaling, palms press up. Exhaling, hands come back and interlace. Inhaling, opening it all up. Exhaling, hands come back into heart. Alrighty, let's just rest the hands wherever it's comfortable. We're going to stretch the neck. So taking the right ear down towards the right shoulder. Noticing if you leaned to the side to do that, try to keep your spine straight up and down, just moving the head. Keeping your shoulder where it is, not raising it to come towards the ear. Nods up and down with the chin. Allow us to open up through the whole left side of the neck. Exhaling, the chin comes down to the chest. And we'll inhale to make our way with the left ear to the left shoulder. Check in with your posture again, check in with your shoulders. Taking big or little nods up and down with the chin, feeling out the right side of the neck. Noticing where you feel a stretch, where you feel tension, soreness. And now we can roll the chin down from ear to ear, or you can even roll full circles, opening up the throat, the front of the neck. Making sure that you switch directions every once in a while. And continue to breathe. Also, try to pay attention to that spine. Try not to slouch into the sensation. Stay upright and tall through that spine. We'll meet with the chin down towards the chest. Inhaling to come, sitting up tall. We'll switch ankles, so the opposite ankle's in close. Re-rooting through both sit bones, extending that spine. And here we'll take the right hand across to the left knee for a little twist, and then reach up and over with the left hand. Looking maybe even towards that elbow, the inner elbow on the left side. Getting a big open high twist here. Coming back to center. Left hand comes across to the right knee. We twist a little, reach up and over with the right hand. Noticing maybe some different sensations on this side. And coming back to center. Holding on to both knees now. Roll big circles with the chest. Feeling out the low back, feeling out the hip flexors. And if one sit bone and then the other come up to follow your spine around, that is just fine. Letting your body kind of move naturally, depending on how wide and round your circles are. Switching directions. Continuing to breathe in a way that makes sense with your movement. Nice and steady. We'll make our way back to center and then over into tabletop position. So bringing the hands right underneath the shoulders, the knees right underneath the hips, lengthening from the crown of the head all the way to the tailbone, so that spine is long and straight and neutral. We're looking down at the mat in between our fingertips to keep the entire spine neutral, even the neck. Strong through the belly here. We'll come into cat and cow. So we'll inhale, lifting the tailbone, dropping the belly, lifting the chin, pulling that heart forward. And exhale, tucking the tailbone, rounding up through the back, tucking the chin in towards the chest. Moving with your breath, taking any movements forward and back or side to side that feel right to you. Any kind of wiggles. we'll make our way back to neutral, extending from the top of the head to the tailbone. Let's take the right leg out long, tucking the toes and pressing through that heel. So stretching the whole back of the leg. Pressing evenly down through both hands. We're going to lift up that foot, bringing the leg parallel with the floor. Pressing down still through both hands. We'll take a big deep breath in here. And on our exhale, we're going to hug that knee in towards the heart. Inhaling to lengthen the foot out. And exhale to tuck it in. Inhaling to lengthen out one more time. And exhale to tug it towards the heart. Then go ahead and set that knee down. Shake out your wrists if you need to, giving yourself a little rub on each wrist, one and then the other. And we'll come back to tabletop. Neutral spine. Taking the left leg out long and tucking those toes and pressing back towards that heel. Opening up the back of the leg. The Achilles tendon, the calf, hamstring. We'll lift that foot up. Toes are still pointing straight down towards the floor. Taking a big deep breath in here, lengthening through the heel. And exhaling, bringing that knee in towards the heart. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling, hugging it in. Inhaling, lengthening one more time. Exhaling, hugging that knee in. And then set it on down. All right. So we've got the knees right underneath the hips here. We want to keep the thigh bones straight up and down. And we're going to walk the hands forward and bring the elbows down towards the floor. So we're kind of coming into puppy pose, kind of melting heart. You can drag those elbows forward as far as you can. Maybe even your chin can come down to the floor. But we want to keep those thigh bones straight up and down so the hips stay right over the knees. Relaxing your head wherever you can. So this is like a big high child's pose. The spine is arching rather than rounding. Letting your belly be soft here. Letting your shoulders open up. From here, we'll carefully shift forward over those forearms and walk it back up to tabletop position. Taking the knees wide, the big toes together, and now we'll sit back towards the heels, coming into child's pose. And maybe after that melting heart, it feels good to keep the elbows bent, kind of out to the sides. Whatever feels right to your upper body in your child's pose is what you should do. The forehead is heavy down towards the floor. The tailbone is heavy, allowing the spine to just naturally round. Breathing here, taking a moment to block everything out. Alrighty, we'll make our way back up into our tabletop position, bringing the knees back underneath the hips, walking the hands a couple inches forward and tucking all those toes, pressing into the floor, lifting those hips and knees up for downward facing dog, alternating, pressing one heel and then the other towards the floor, one leg straightens and then the other. Lifting up onto the balls of the feet and pressing those heels down towards the floor. Hips lift really, really high up towards the ceiling. We'll take a big bend in both knees and walk on up to the top of our mats, hanging out in a forward fold. The hands do not need to meet the mat. There can be a little bend in those knees. Just letting the arms hang and letting the head hang. Shaking your head, no. Nodding your head, yes. Go ahead and lift up all 10 of your toes and notice your feet. You have a point at the base of the big toe, a point at the base of the baby toe, and then a point at the heel. So we've got kind of a long triangle that our feet create. And those 6 points are where we stand all day long. So try to use all 6 of those points evenly. You might notice that you tend to lean more onto one foot than the other, more onto the front or the backs of the feet. Just notice, every once in a while, lift up your toes and see what's going on with those feet. Go ahead and lower the toes all the way back down. We'll inhale, coming halfway out of that stretch, lengthening the spine long, just like we did in tabletop. Exhaling, folding down. Taking a big bend in the knees and rolling all the way up to stand. One vertebrae at a time. Standing up nice and tall. We'll come into mountain pose, our Tadasana. We've got our feet hip width apart and parallel. Standing up nice and tall. We'll stack our body straight up and down, pointing the kneecaps straight forward. Knees are right over the ankles. Hips are stacked right over those knees. Tailbone is tucked a little bit so we're not sticking our booties out. Tailbone is tucked a little bit. Shoulders are stacked right over those hips. Strong through the belly. Fingertips can extend down towards the floor. Chin is level with the floor. Breathing here for a couple breaths. And our feet. Check in with your feet again. Did you shift forward or back? Did you shift from one side to the other? Try to bring those feet as even as you can, because we're going to keep the feet right here. We're going to do 6 sun breaths. We'll inhale, take the arms out wide and all the way up. Exhale, fold forward and bow all the way down. Little bend in the knees is just fine. Inhaling to lengthen, pressing the shoulders back. Exhaling to fold all the way down. Inhaling, arms come out wide and up. And exhale, hands coming to the heart. Inhaling, arms out wide and up. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling out and up. And hands come into the heart. Arms coming out wide and up. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling, lengthening the spine. And exhaling to fold all the way down. Inhaling out and up. And exhale, hands come into the heart. The next three we're going to do with eyes closed. You know where you're going. You're not going anywhere. So we're going to close the eyes. Inhaling, arms come out and up. Exhaling, fold forward and down. Inhaling, lengthening the spine. Exhaling to fold all the way down. Inhaling out wide and all the way up. And exhaling, hands come into the heart. Inhaling, arms out and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhaling out and up. Exhaling, fold. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling out and up. And exhaling, hands into center. Keeping those eyes closed, standing still for a couple breaths. Noticing where you feel tingling, where you feel sensation, warmth. Can you feel your pulse anywhere? And also, how are your feet? Where are you leaning? Are you rooting evenly through all 6 of those points? Sometimes it's easier to feel all those things with your eyes closed. We'll take a big deep breath in and open the eyes. And let's see. Go ahead and come to the top of your mat. And let's take a medium-sized step back with the right foot. So our right toes turn out to the side. Our left toes are pointing straight forward. And we want to open up so the belly button is pointing in the same direction as the right toes. So we're opening towards the long side of your mat. We want to make sure though that that left kneecap is pointing in the same direction as the left toes. So if you need to adjust, go ahead and adjust. Maybe taking that foot closer to the right side of the mat. Whatever feels best for your left knee. All right, so we're gonna take the arms out wide to the side. We're making our way into triangle, but we're gonna do it with really, really good alignment. So imagine you're about to do an awesome cartwheel right here. That's how narrow and on a single plane your body should feel. So the hips, the left hip is pressing forward, the right hip is pressing back. The arms are extending out straight over the legs. Take a big deep breath in here. Exhaling, reaching forward with those left fingertips. And then tipping down, keeping the chest open. So the hand might just come to the knee, and that's just fine. I'd so much rather you be here than like down here with your right hand flinging out in space in front of you. See the difference? We want to have our hearts open, our hand straight up, and our arms as parallel with one another as we can. So it's a big side stretch, not so much that hamstring. We'll inhale to come all the way up. Arms are staying out to the side. And here, we're gonna bend into that front knee coming into warrior two. That's the only difference. Inhaling, straightening that knee, palms come up and together. Exhaling, coming into warrior two. Inhaling, coming on up. Exhaling into warrior two. Inhaling up one more time. Exhaling, arms come out, bending that knee. And we're settling into our warrior two pose. So check in with your big toe on that left foot. Can you see it on the inside of your knee? You're needing a lot of strength on the outside of that thigh to hold the knee in place over the ankle. Strengthening a lot of really important but very weirdly placed muscles that hold our hips and pelvis together, that help us prevent lots and lots of back pain. We'll inhale, stretching the legs straight, releasing the arms out, shaking those arms out. And we'll take the left toes, rotate in, the right toes rotate out. So we're coming into that same sequence on the other side. Adjusting the feet however you need to. Pressing forward with the right hip and back with the left hip. Pointing that right kneecap in the same direction as those right toes. Adjusting however you need to feel really strong through that leg. Arms come out, extending over the legs, just like we're about to come into a big old cartwheel. Reaching forward, forward, forward into those right fingertips, and then tipping down, but staying open through the heart, open across the collarbones. No need to try to touch the floor, or your toes, or your ankle. Continuing to breathe here. If your balance feels wonky, you can look down at that right big toe. Sometimes that helps. We'll inhale, coming all the way back up. And exhale, bending into that front knee. Coming into warrior two. Inhaling, straighten the leg, palms come together. Exhaling, bending into warrior two. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up one more time. Exhaling down into your warrior two. And this time checking in with your big toe on the inside of that knee. Arms are extending. Shoulders are dropped away from the ears. Reaching fingertips from fingertips. On our inhale, we'll come all the way up. Bringing the hands into heart and the feet parallel. Taking our feet parallel. So we're still facing the same direction. It just feels a little bit more comfortable. And we'll fold forward here. Hands might make it all the way down to the floor, maybe not. Relaxing through the back of the neck. Letting your head hang. And if you need to adjust your feet farther apart or closer together, please do so. We're hanging out here in a wide forward fold. If you feel the need to shift from side to side with the hips, or maybe bend one knee and then the other, feel free. Taking whatever movements your body needs. Coming back to center. We'll take a little bend in both knees and roll all the way up to stand. Walking the feet together. All the way together. So the knees are together too. Bringing the hands into the heart. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing. Bringing the hands into the heart. And sitting back into the hips. We want to make sure that the big toes are visible over the knees. So we don't want to be leaning way forward. We want to keep those feet balanced, sitting back with the hips enough that we can see the big toes. And stay at heart. And make sure here that you're not sticking your booty out. You're kind of tucking the booty under. So this spine here, your spine, should look straight. Should feel a little different than it does when you're standing, because it's getting a lot of power from that pelvic tuck. Fierce pose. If you're feeling extra fancy here, you can even lift up both heels, coming up onto the balls of the feet. Try to keep your ankles and your knees pressed towards one another. Lowering those heels on down, coming on up, shaking out the legs, shaking out the arms. And we'll come to sit on our mats. Both legs are long out in front of us. Bending, no, not bending, flexing the feet so the toes are pointing straight up towards the ceiling, lengthening the spine. Even if you need to have hands kind of behind your hips, that's fine. Lengthening the spine, pressing into the floor even to take some gravity out of the spine. And here we'll bend the right knee, taking the foot to the floor, but you want to make sure that you've got some space in between that foot and that leg. So I'm keeping my foot and my leg still hip width apart. And then we'll take both hands to either side of the left leg, the extended left leg. Check in with this knee here, this right knee. You want to keep this knee in close to your body. Don't let it fall out to the side. Keep this knee in close to your body. You might just stay right here. You might be able to walk your fingertips forward a couple inches, but keep this knee in close to your body. We're all about lower back and pelvic stability right now. If you have SI joint pain or sciatica, this is a really good strengthening exercise for those hips. We'll release and come on up. Taking a hold of that knee, we'll take the right hand behind and use that knee to twist. Keeping the knee in space right where it was before. So not letting the knee fall out to the side or inward. Making our way back to center. Lengthening the right leg. Bending the left leg. Keeping the foot and the leg still about hip width apart. Both hands come to either side of the right leg. That left knee stays pressing towards the outer arm. We can stay right here or keeping that knee hugging in. Walk the fingertips forward. Maybe an inch, maybe a couple inches. Walking on up, taking a hold of that knee, sitting up nice and tall. Left hand comes to the floor and we twist, using that knee to twist and even look over the left shoulder. Coming back to center, lengthening that left leg out. And now we'll bring the hands to either side of both legs, walking them forward, and folding, relaxing through the spine, letting the head hang down. Noticing how your inhales take you out of the fold a little bit. The exhalations let you get a little bit closer to those legs. We'll make our way on up. Scooting a little bit forward on our mats, and we're going to come down onto our backs. Knees stay bent. The heels are in pretty close to the booty. Let's keep the palms down to the mat today. We'll press into the floor with the feet, tucking the pelvis forward and lifting one vertebrae at a time off the mat. So it's like a roll rather than just a lift. And then we'll roll the spine all the way back down. The tailbone comes down last. So this is different than what we usually do. We're tucking the pelvis forward, lifting the tailbone, and then following with the rest of the vertebrae as high as you can get. And exhaling, rounding that spine gradually from top to bottom all the way down. Do one more of those. Lifting the tailbone, making your way up the spine. And exhaling, rolling the spine all the way back down to the floor. Relax. Alrighty, taking the right ankle across the left knee, coming into a figure four stretch here. We can stay right here. We can hold on behind that left thigh or even to the front of that left shin. The closer your ankle is to your face, the more of a stretch you're going to get into that right hip. And if your right knee feels weird here, you can always flex that ankle, activating the muscles in the leg to protect the joints. Continuing to breathe, especially if you're feeling a lot of tension in that hip. Sending that fresh air, fresh blood to that tension. Go ahead and let the left foot come all the way down to the floor. Uncross the right, and we'll switch sides, bringing the left ankle across the right knee. We can stay right here, hold behind the right thigh, or in front of the right shin. And this side might be different than the right side, and that is just fine. Flexing through that left ankle to protect the left knee if that is a concern for you. Continuing to breathe. Releasing the right foot on down, uncrossing the left. We'll just windshield wiper the knees from side to side a couple times. Opening up through that lower spine. Bring both knees in towards the heart and hug those knees. Give yourself a big hug, maybe even rocking from side to side. And then we'll extend one leg and then the other. Coming into your final relaxation pose. So legs can stay out long, or you might want to bend the knees. Finding a position that is symmetrical from right to left, that you can relax in. Allowing your body to be heavy and flat into the floor. Feeling the feet, the heels pressing into the floor. The backs of the legs are soft. The knees are not gripping, not working. Feeling the heaviness of the hips and the pelvis. The belly is soft. The natural curves of your spine, some places of heaviness and some places of lightness. Noticing if this position feels a little bit better or the same or different than it did at the very, very beginning of class. The shoulder blades are flat against the mat, letting the chest be open. The arms are heavy. The jaw is soft. The face is smooth. Just breathing regularly here for a minute or two, not dwelling for too long on any thought that might arise. Begin to deepen your breath. Taking little movements with the fingers and the toes. Rolling out your wrists and ankles, maybe turning your head from side to side. Bend both knees. Carefully roll over onto one side. We'll press gently up into a seated position onto our mats. Bringing the hands together at heart, sitting up nice and tall. We'll take a big deep breath in for the world. Exhaling, hands into the heart. Big deep breath in for our community. Exhaling, hands come into the heart. And a big deep breath in for ourselves. Exhaling, hands come into center. Thank you so much. Namaste.